We will start in 10 minutes. Good morning. The Committee on Health meeting is now called to order. May we all stand for the invocation.
Invocation. Almighty Father, Creator of heaven and earth, we honor your name. We thank you for the gift of life and for your faithfulness in providing our daily needs. Today, as we perform our duties as public servants, we humbly ask you, dear Lord, to guard our hearts and mind and to put the interests and welfare of our fellow men above all else. Make us more sensitive to the needs of those who have less in life and give us a listening ear to those attending today's deliberation as we search for the best course of action to face the pressing issues today. We entrust the remaining hours of today into your hands and let your will be done. All this we pray in your name. Amen.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion to dispense with the calling of the roll?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes,
I
Honorable Ongchuan.
move that we dispense with the calling of the roll.
Second, Mr. Chairman.
There's a duly seconded motion to dispense with the calling of the roll. Hearing no objection, the motion is approved.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Honorable Rehencia.
I move that we are going to dispense the minutes of the reading of the minutes of the previous meeting and approve the same. So move, Mr. Chair.
I second the motion, Mr. Chairman.
There's a duly seconded motion to dispense with the reading of the minutes of the previous meeting and the approval of the same. Hearing no objection, the same is approved. At this point, I'd like to acknowledge the members of the committee who are here present this morning. Honorable Isidro T. Ungab of the 3rd District of Davao City. Honorable Celso Rehencia of the Lone District of Iligan City. And one of our Vice Chair, Honorable Peter B. Miguel of the 2nd District of South Cotabato. Thank you very much. Comsec, please acknowledge our resource persons this morning.
Good morning, Chair, honorable members of the committee. In attendance for today's meeting as resource persons from the various department agencies and other concerned agencies are the following: from the DOH, Director Anthony Ku and Mr. Roland Javier. From the Department of Budget and Management, we invited Attorney Philip Jeffrey D. David and Ms. Rowena Marte. From the PCSO, the Philippine Charity Sweepstakes Office, Dr. Larry Cedro. Please acknowledge if you're around, Your Honors.
Good morning.
From the Philippine Health Insurance Corporation, Mr. Renato Limshaco.
Yes.
Morning, sir.
Good morning.
From the Department of Information and Communication Technology, Attorney G. Ann Belhica.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Good morning.
From the Food and Drug Administration, Ms. Maria Victoria D. Piñon. From the Department of Trade and Industry, Ms. Marilyn Montañez. From the Department of Health, also Dr. Between Reyes. From the Medical Center Chief of the Southern Philippine Medical Center of Davao City, Dr. Ricardo Audan.
Good morning.
Morning, sir. Attorney Oscar Mata and Mr. Emmanuel Dries.
Good morning, Mr. Chair.
From the Cavite Center for Mental Health, Dr. Aldous Angeles
Good morning po.
and Mr. Van Costa and Ms. Luisa Isaguirre. From the Bacnotan District Hospital, Dr. Zenserly Pagaduan.
Good morning po.
And from the Balawan District Hospital, Mr. Dan William Dacane. That would be all for now, Your Honor.
Thank you, Comsec. Before we proceed, we'd like to acknowledge other members of the committee who are here present. Honorable Francisco Paolo Ortega of the 1st District of La Union. Our Senior Vice Chair, Honorable Anthony Rolando Goles Jr. of Party List Malasakit Bayanihan. Honorable Emery Lollipop M. Juanyo Dizon of the Lone District of Mandaue City. And one of our Vice Chair, Honorable Keith Micah, Attorney Mike Tan of the 4th District of Quezon. Good morning once again, distinguished members of the committee and esteemed guests. In the agenda of the committee meeting today are 3 bills on the establishment of the Special Local Health Fund, the deliberation of the 2 unnumbered substitute bills from our technical working groups, and 5 local bills that are of vital importance in the delivery of health services in various parts of our country. At this point, we'd like to proceed with the local bills first. We now call on Honorable Celso Regencia of the
Iligan.
Lone District of Iligan City to sponsor House Bill number 7174, an act providing for the establishment of a district hospital in Iligan City to be known as the Iligan City District Hospital and appropriating funds therefor. Honorable Regencia is now recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning. And to fellow congressmen, good morning. Resource person. Mr. Chair, I move and hereby endorses to the records of this committee hearing our explanatory note as our preliminary statement in support of House Bill number 7174, entitled An Act Providing for the Establishment of District Hospital in Iligan City to be known as the Iligan City District Hospital and appropriating funds therefor, jointly authored by this representation and Congresswoman Gloria Macapagal Arroyo. So move, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Regencia. May we now listen to the position of the Department of Health. Dr. Bituin Reyes is now recognized.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. The Department of Health supports the establishment of District Hospital in Iligan and recommends it to be under the direct supervision and control of the province. In view of the foregoing, the DOH interposes no objection to the proposed establishment of a District Hospital in Iligan, considering that Lanao del Norte is selected as one of the universal healthcare integration sites, and recommends it to be under the direct supervision and control of the province, as it will ensure the province healthcare provider network's continuity in delivering necessary healthcare services from primary to tertiary care providers. Notwithstanding its ownership, the DOH, through the Northern Mindanao Center for Health Development, shall still provide technical assistance and monitor its compliance to standards in accordance with the PHFDP, or the Philippine Health Facility Development Plan, and the National Allocation Framework. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Dr. Reyes. Any comments from the House members? Committee members?
Mr. Chair,
Honorable Regencia.
House Bill number 7174 is being filed by me and Congresswoman Gloria Macapagal Arroyo. Our purpose here, Mr. Chair, is to give the supervision and control from the Department of Health, and the budget, therefore, will be stipulated in GAA, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Regencia. Any other comment? From the Department of Health, may I know how many number of patients are expected to cater to the proposed establishment of a hospital?
Mr. Chair, it will depend on the catchment of the facility, also their bed capacity. As of current, maybe our average bed occupancy rate is more than 100% already per facility. And the ideal is around 85%. So that means they are catering to more patients than what they should be catering to. At this point, we still do have bed gaps. However, in terms of our facilities kailangan po talaga natin ng suporta from all levels, not just the national as well.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Honorable Rehencia.
As of now, Mr. Chair, ang Iligan City po ay mayroon ng 387,000 population. So we really in dire need of another district hospital to be built in Iligan City, and we are only requesting 100 bed capacity. And we have the lot donated by the Laya family with area of 3 hectares, Mr. Chair. And we are only planning now to have a 100 bed capacity.
Will this be level 2 or level 1 hospital?
Maybe, Mr. Chair, it is level 1 muna.
Level 1 hospital. Okay. What's the nearest referral center in Iligan City Hospital?
Cagayan de Oro,
Cagayan
Mr.
de
Chair,
Oro.
kung medyo grabe na talaga ang kwan. And we travel 1 hour and 45 minutes in the distance of 90 kilometers.
So there is no government hospital level 3 in Iligan City?
None, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
If I may, Mr. Chair, there are 4 under the local government unit, 3 level 1 and 1 level 2 at the provincial level, I think.
But there's no level 3
None.
in Iligan City. Okay. Honorable Goles?
Mr. Chair, let me emphasize the need for the establishment of the district hospital in your locality, Representative Rehencia. If I may give an advice, it would be better if you make your district hospital into level 2. Mr. Chair, if the DOH would allow it, because I know that in your locality there's really a need for a level 2 hospital. Considering that the level 2 hospital is already your provincial hospital, so it really means that more level 2 hospital, Mr. Chair, would be needed there, and I hope the Department of Health can agree with me on that, Mr. Chair.
Would you be amenable to upgrade the level to level 2 of your proposed establishment hospital?
I really appreciate the idea of Congressman Antonio Goles, Mr. Chair. But our hospital now, our government hospital, the Gregorio Tilios Senior Memorial Hospital, or the GTLMH, is having 130 bed capacity. And sad to say that when I was the mayor of Iligan City, it was uplifted to level 2. And now, marami nang hindi na-comply sa LGU natin, so bumaba ito ulit sa level 1. So, kailangan talaga, natutuwa ako kay Congressman Goles na maging ma-uplift ito sa level 2. Pero may requirements man, Mr. Chair. Ang level 1, kailangan mayroon tayong 3 to 4 hectares. Ang level 2, kailangan mayroon tayong 5 to 6 hectares. So ang donation ngayon, Mr. Chair, is only 3 hectares. So iwan ko lang kung ma-approve yan sa Department of Health na maging level 2 ang hospital natin na ipatayo doon sa Iligan City.
Mr. Chair, before
Dr. Reyes? Oh.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. If I may po, so Lanao del Norte has a total gap of 843 hospital beds for level 1 and only 28 for level 2 by year 2025. So based on the statistics that we have according to demand and supply, we are lacking more of the level 1 capacity at this point.
So you would recommend a level 1 rather than level 2?
If the capacity is present there and we will meet the present need, yes.
Payag na rin ako, Mr. Chair, kaysa wala.
Mr. Chair,
Okay.
for Mr. Chair, one clarification, if I may.
Honorable Marco?
Yeah, just for our clarification, can you tell us ano ba yung requirements sa level 1, level 2, level 3 para maintindihan natin yung total picture kung ano yung level 1, 2, and 3?
In terms of the land, it will be dependent on the intent, if it will be a vertical or if it's going to be
Okay,
sprawling. But in terms of services, if that is what you mean,
Yes.
in terms of services, level 1 hospitals will just be usually our general hospitals. So usually generalists will be the ones, the human resources are generalist hospital personnel. So we don't have as many, or we do not require as many specialists. When you have a level 2 hospital, we are expected to have a departmentalized hospital. Ibig pong sabihin, ang minimum po noon, meron po siyang internal medicine, merong pediatrics, may surgery, merong OB-GYN. So if you are in a level 2 hospital, you will be expected to have those as actual departments.
How many of them? How many?
At least 4.
4 specialty centers.
Yeah, at least 4 specialties. Specialty
Specialties.
departments lang po
Okay.
siya. Hindi po expected at the level of specialty centers. When you reach a level 3 hospital, they will have to have at least 2 training facilities. So, training for residency programs po. These are accredited residency programs. So, it will be a little difficult as well to have enough of the specialists to teach, and then also have the number of medical personnel to be taught. So these are residents. And then it has to be accompanied by a certain level as well of our laboratories.
What
Ganun po.
about the number of beds? Meron bang requirement yan? If you are level 1, you should have how many bed capacity? Yung level 2, ilan?
Hindi po siya set in stone. We usually...
No, but what is the
Opo.
guideline? So if you want to be level 1, you need to have how many beds?
Hindi po nga po siya set in stone. Is what I mean.
So kahit na ilang beds, pwede ka. Basta
Pwede po.
level 1 ka, basta general ang services mo sa mga tao.
As long as you are... sa licensing na po yun pumapasok.
Okay, level
Opo.
2, wala ring requirement in terms of
Hindi
bed
po siya
capacity.
specific because we have small hospitals that are level 3 because they are specialty. So yung service po na naibibigay nila mataas. Even if, for example, if I may, I think our ITM is only 50 beds, but they are a level 3 specialty. So mataas po talaga yung kaya because their main focus is more, they're heavily on research as well. Hindi po siya heavy on client or inpatient beds. So madami po silang
What
other
about in
services.
terms of the land area of the hospital? Walang requirement doon?
Hindi po siya set in stone din na ganun. Meron pong
Saan siya nakaset? Sa
nire-recommend.
sand yan? O ano?
Meron pong nire-recommend na, I'm not the one who is an expert on the particular land area, but meron po kasing mga requirements yung levels na may certain land area nga po nakakasya siya. So, pwedeng mag-vertical, pwede pong sprawling. So, dun po magkakaiba. Depende rin po dun sa lupa na pagtatayuan kung kakayanin po niya na paakyat. Yun. So, may mga ganong considerations po.
Mr. Chair, may I suggest that we ask DOH to give us a definition, no? Parang matrix that will show us if you are level 1, these are the things that you should have. Level 2, ganito. Level 3, para we know exactly if we will recommend or will approve yung mga proposed measure involving an increase in bed capacity in different specialty centers, in bed capacity, and so forth and so on, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Margo. If I may, level 1 is you need a specialist. Level 2, you need a specialist but not a department. No, there's a department but not a training hospital. And then a level 3, there has to be a training program in that particular hospital. So with specialist and training ang level 3. Ang level 2 with specialist pero hindi kailangan hindi kaya ang offer ng training program dun sa level 2. Pero may mga specialist. Ang level 1 is general practitioners lang. And bed capacity is actually really up to the Department of Health to determine. But generally, level 1, even infirmary, pwedeng mga 15 to 25 beds. Level 2, more or less nasa 50 to 100, 50, 100, 75 to 100. And then above that can go as high.
Mr.
Am I
Chair.
correct, Dr. Reyes?
Yes po, Mr. Chair. Our common guideline is that until 100 beds is 75 po is until 75 is usually a level 1, and then we already pag level 2 po 100. For the reason that we deem that the investment will be more appropriate with the beds. However, we, as mentioned earlier, hindi naman po laging ganon. Hindi siya same na situation across the board. And then, usually, 200 beds and up, we recommend na level 3 na po. Because you're handling so many patients, it would be better if you already had training capacity.
So the area requirement mentioned by Honorable Rehencia, the 2 hectares, 3 hectares,
3 hectares
is not
yung-
really strict. You can have a level 2 in a less than 3 hectares. Okay,
Mr. Chair.
so it's Honorable Gomez.
I just would like to be clarified. Iligan City is a major city. It's a first-class city and highly urbanized city in northern Mindanao. I cannot understand why DOH is telling me with such a city, hindi nila kailangan ng level 2 hospital. And the city wants to establish a hospital that is only a level 1 hospital. Hindi ko maintindihan talaga yun, Mr. Chair. Bakit sasabihin sa akin ng DOH na such an highly urbanized city, level 1 ang kailangan na ilagay doon, hindi level 2. Eh, saan pupunta yung tao? Sa private? Yun ang hindi ko maintindihan, Mr. Chair. Did you consider the requirement na dapat ang level 2, hindi pwedeng level 2, level 1 na lang? Dahil kasi halos lahat ng level 2 doon ay private.
You are asking question, Honorable Goles?
Yes, Mr. Chair. I just would like to be
Okay,
clarified.
Dr. Reyes?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We do consider all the licensed hospitals in the area that serves the catchment, Mr. Chair. The province currently has 17 licensed hospitals, and 13 are privately owned and 4 are under the local government unit. We consider all of the beds. So it's not just about the number of facilities that we're talking about. Ang gap po na tinitignan namin is per bed. And there was noted to be a higher gap in terms of beds in the level 1 capacity. So we do consider all. We are also not limiting because we understand din po that the beds or the gaps are based on population. So as we are increasing in population, definitely the gaps will also expand. We are just looking at, since we are investing today, and in the next, mag-operationalize ito in the next 3 years, that's where we are, the gap that we are trying to assess as well. So when you reach a level 1, you are not stopped. We do not stop you from upgrading as necessary. So that is where we are coming from.
Mr. Chair, I'm still not satisfied with the answer of the Department of Health. My question is this. Iligan City is a highly urbanized city and is a standard of progress in the entire northern Mindanao, if I may say that. It's a first-class category as a first class. They're trying to ask help from Congress to establish a city hospital. And Congress, if it has money, would want to have a level 2 hospital. Why is it that the Department of Health would say na dapat maging level 1 hospital siya? So saan pupunta yung mga patients na nandoon, whether may kaya o mahirap, na needing a specialty or a specialized care? Sinasabi mo ba na sa private hospital sila pumupunta? Kasi kung sasabihin mo sa akin, out of 14, 11 yung private hospital, maybe that is the reason why maraming humihirap sa Iligan City kasi marami silang out-of-pocket expenses when it comes to healthcare. And that is the reason why I'm saying kailangan ng level 2 hospital sa city hospital, the prime hospital of the city. Tapos pagmamalaki natin na level 1 lang siya. Kung level 2 siya, ibig sabihin isa-subsidize ng gobyerno. Okay? So kung may masakit at kailangan ng highly specialized skill, dapat doon meron sila matatakbuhan na gobyerno at hindi sa private. Yun lang po yung akin. Pero kung sinasabi ng ating department, and of course, pumayag naman ng ating representative doon sa Iligan City, I would heed to that call. But nevertheless, I would still want to give my full support to the establishment of a hospital in Iligan City. And as a matter of fact, if you may allow me, I would want to co-author that bill also. Thank you.
Honorable Rehencia.
Mr. Chair, ay binabase ko po lang yung report doon sa regional director ng DOH doon sa Region 10. So sa pagkakaalam ko, mayroon silang parameter kung magkano o ilan yung ektarya na i-occupy sa district hospital na gagawin natin doon. Ako ay nagpapasalamat ni Congressman Golis at saka Congressman Go na sumusuporta dito sa plano nito dahil when I was the mayor, Mr. Chair, nakikita ko talaga during Marawi Siege na kung grabe ang pasyente ay dadalhin pa namin doon sa Cagayan de Oro City, lalo na yung mga sundalo natin na nakipagbakbakan doon sa Marawi City against the ISIS Mauti group. So kailangan ngayon wala naman palang limit na ang 3 hectares ay maka-cater naman sa 100 bed capacity. So, kanina sinabi ko, mas mabuti pa yung level 1 kaysa wala. Pero pwede naman pala, so i-level 2 na lang natin. Mr. Chair.
Pwede kasi i-high rise mo eh. Pwede ipataasan mo yung hospital. Pero that is, I'm sorry Mr. Chair, I just have to explain this. Because coming from the ground, naging barrio doctor po ako ng matagal. Yung sinasabi po ni Mayor na kailangan dalin yung tinamaan ng bala kasi hindi pwedeng maoperahan dun sa city. City hospital lang nga yan eh. Nakakaya naman na dun sa city hospital hindi makakapag-opera. Malaking kahihiyan talaga yan sa mayor, sa congressman na nandito araw-araw tumihingi ng pondo tapos level 1 lang ang na natin, di ba? Let's shoot for the stars and land for the moon if ever. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Honorable Marco.
Yung increasing it to 200 bed capacity, level 2, yun ang kailangan. Actually, I also I went to Iligan City, Congressman. Of course, the mayor now is a former congressman during the 17th Congress. I think we will be the one to decide, and DOH should help the city government or the district office to put up this facility that will cater not only for level 1 patients but also for level 2. DOH should not be the hindrance in this particular effort kasi kailangan ng tulong doon eh. Yung mga private hospitals, ano ba yan? They can only cater to few patients, di ba? Small private hospitals. Ngayon, we need a bigger one. Sa amin, sa Baguio, 73% of our patients are indigent patients. And I'm sure it's basically the same in Iligan City. So where will they go even when they have this problem? They go to a public hospital, and this is the one. So I support also the effort of our congressman and the suggestion of Congoles that we make it a level 2 with 200 bed capacity. Kasi kung gagawin mong 50 or 100, then after 1 or 2 years, increase yung you need another law to pass it. So we might just well do it now. If that will be acceptable to our author.
Thank you,
Mr.
Honorable Marco.
Mr. Chair.
By the way, in the upgrading of hospitals, we don't need a legislative measure. The upgrading from level 1 to level 2 is the DOH function. So Now that we have heard the supportive comments of our committee members, Honorable Margo.
To move for the approval of House Bill 7174, an act providing for the establishment of a district hospital in Iligan City to be known as the Iligan City District Hospital. And
Second.
appropriating funds therefore. I so move, Mr. Chair.
I second.
So there's a motion by Honorable Margo, duly seconded, that House Bill number 7174 be approved. Hearing no objection, the House Bill number 7174 is now approved. Congratulations, Honorable Rehencia.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Congressman Golis and Congressman Go, for supporting the bill. And it is of great help in Iligan City. And before, Mr. Chair, I would like to thank also that the Malasakit Center in Iligan City is also functioning with Senator Bongo giving 5 million a month to help the constituents of Iligan City.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Rehencia. Before we proceed, we'd like to acknowledge the other members of the committee who are here present. One of our Vice Chair, Honorable Angelica Natasha Co, of the party list BHW, and of course, Honorable Mark Go of the Lone District of Baguio City. Thank you. We now proceed with House Bill number 9991, entitled An Act Increasing the Bed Capacity of the Southern Philippines Medical Center, Davao City, from 1,500 to 2,000 beds, upgrading its professional health care services and facilities, authorizing the increase of its medical personnel, and appropriating funds therefore. Honorable Ungab is now
Mr.
recognized.
Chair, I think we failed to, if we can have a motion that all members present be co-authors of House Bill 7471.
Okay, so
74.
Second, if that's a motion.
okay, so before recognizing Honorable Ungab, there's a motion that with the permission of the author, all those who are members here in this meeting be made co-authors. Duly seconded, hearing no objection, the same is approved. Thank you. So Honorable Ungab is now recognized.
Mr. Chairman, House Bill number 9991 is an act increasing the bed capacity of the Southern Philippines Medical Center, Davao City, from 1,500 to 2,000 beds, upgrading its professional health care services and facilities, authorizing the increase for its medical personnel, and appropriating funds. Therefore, with the permission of the Chair, may I request, Mr. Chairman, that the explanatory note of House Bill 9991 be entered into the records as my sponsorship speech in this committee hearing.
Thank you, Honorable Ungab. From the Department of Health, Dr. Between Reyes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Department of Health interposes no objection to the proposed increase in bed capacity of the Southern Philippines Medical Center from 1,500 to 2,000 beds and the upgrading of its professional healthcare services and facilities. The increase in bed capacity is aligned with the role of DOH hospitals as apex hospitals and referral hospitals of healthcare provider networks. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chairman,
yes.
Mr. Chairman, actually, its present capacity is 1,500 beds, but the reality is it's overcrowded. 1,008 to 1,009 almost every day, and it is not only catering to Davao City patients, even the neighboring provinces and cities. They go to SPMC, or the Southern Philippines Medical Center. With me here is our resource persons, the chief of hospital of the director of the SPMC, and if the chair would allow, we allow him to speak with regard to this bill, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Honorable Ungab. May we now recognize the chief, the medical center chief of the hospital, Dr. Ricardo Audan.
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Chair. I am Dr. Ricardo Audan, the Medical Center Chief of Southern Philippines Medical Center. Let me also acknowledge our bill proponent, Honorable Isidro Ungab, and the rest of the people people here in the hall. Maayong buntag. SPMC has been around for 107 years. It's an apex hospital. It's a DOH specialty center with 17 specialties. We have 17 training and 32 fellowship training. And I'm just proud to say that last year, SPMC was the first to get the DOH Hall of Fame as a government tertiary hospital. It's the only government tertiary hospital given an award by the DOH last November in Iloilo City. At present, the minimum that we have patients is about 17 to 19. Our OPD, we are catering 2,000 minimum a day. And for the ER, we have a minimum of 500 to 600 a day. For our census, for last year, we have, in spite of the pandemic, we had an admission of 58,597. For the ER, we have 95,268. For our OPD, we have 524,824. And that's it. We really need to upgrade the bed capacity of SPMC because, as what Honorable Ongab said, we are catering not only Davao City. By the way, SPMC is the only government tertiary hospital in Davao City, but catering the whole of Mindanao. Even it caters from also some part of Luzon and Visayas because we have open heart surgery and the rest of sophisticated operation we have. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much, Dr. Audan.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, before we proceed, I'd like to acknowledge the presence of our committee member and chair of the Committee on OFW, Honorable Salo of the Kabayan Party List. Thank you. Honorable Goles.
Mr. Chair, I would like to laud the efforts of the entire Southern Philippines Southern Philippines Medical Center in Davao City, especially through Dr. Audan and Congressman Ongab. Your success and the help that you're giving to the entire Mindanao region is really helping the country. And this is the reason why, based from their statistics, that they have been receiving thousands and thousands of ER patients and outpatient department patients month in and month out is because we can see that somehow the referral system in that area is not working. Everybody goes to the major centers already. So, and that is the reason why we would like to support efforts such as facilities having secondary or primary level before going to the tertiary or the apex hospitals. So I think, Mr. Chair, with the statements of Congressman Ongab and Dr. Audan, I would like to move that that this bill can be approved as soon as possible. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Second.
There is a motion by Honorable Goles and duly seconded that House Bill number 9991 be approved. Hearing no objection, the same is approved. Congratulations, Honorable Ongab.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. And to add, SPMC is 107 years old, established in 1917. Kaya marami talagang pasyente, alam na nila kung saan pupunta. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, may I request that I be co-author of that bill also?
May I request that as author, all members present be also registered as co-authors of this bill, Mr. Chairman?
Okay. There's a duly seconded motion that all those present here who wishes to be co-author of the bill with the permission of the author be made co-authors.
Mr. Chair,
Hearing no objection, the same is approved.
Mr. Chair, before
Yes,
before
Honorable
we move on,
Miguel.
I'd like to manifest Our sincere thanks to SPMC for accepting patients from South Cotabato. With this increase of bed capacity, I hope all of our patients. Yes, yes. Yeah. We also have a budget under my program allocated for SPMC.
Okay, we now proceed with House Bill number 9905 and House Bill 9906. 9905 is entitled An Act Increasing the Bed Capacity of the Bacnotan District Hospital in the Province of La Union from 25 to 50 beds and for other purposes. And House Bill number 9906 entitled An Act Increasing the Bed Capacity of the Balawan District Hospital in the Province of La Union from 25 to 50 beds and for other purposes, both authored by Honorable Francisco Paolo Ortega. Honorable Ortega is now recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, for the recognition. I would like to move for the approval of House Bill 9905 and that my explanatory note be entered as my sponsorship speech. I so move.
Thank you, Honorable Ortega. From the Department of Health, Dr. Reyes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is addressing both House Bills number 9905 and 9906. So in view of the foregoing, the DOH poses no objection to the increase in bed capacity of Bacnotan District Hospital and Balawan District Hospital, as this will be remains under the direct supervision and control of the province, as this will ensure the province healthcare provider network's continuity in delivering the necessary health services from primary to tertiary care. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Dr. Reyes. So it's both hospitals will be under the LGU, not
Yes.
under the DOH.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Still under the province.
province. Okay, so any comments from our
Mr.
members?
Chair?
Yes.
Just to share the idea, not the idea, but the totality of the two House bills. Actually, this is binilin po sa akin to nung kaibigan mo, the former congressman. Pahabol niya sa akin to before. But the idea is, yung vision po na together with the province is to make Bacnotan District Hospital the first district and the first provincial district hospital training center sa North. Kasi it caters to not only the first district of La Union together with Balawan District, but actually neighboring provinces as well. And with our visit to the different district hospitals, more than konti na lang po yung total income po nila annually is still being helped and supplemented by our medical assistance program. So if ang kinikita nila, let's say, is about 20 million a year, parang halos kalahati po nun is yung maip po na ibababa natin sa district hospital. So, yun lang po, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable
Chair,
Ortega.
may
Yes,
I-
Honorable Mark, go.
Yeah, I would like to ask DOH here because it says here on Section 3 of both bills that the funding of this bill, once approved, shall be in the GAA. So you are accepting that also, that the DOH will be also helping in terms of the funding of these two district hospitals in the province of La Union.
Dr. Reyes.
Mr. Chair, we are not allowed to support hospitals that are not under us in terms of MOOE, but we can support them in terms of infrastructure, in terms of equipment, based on the HFEP program.
So
Thank you, Mr.
can
Chair.
we clarify itong provision ng Section 3? Kasi you said that you have interposed no objection. So in effect, you are amenable that DOH will basically include in your proposed budget the funding for the two hospitals, district hospitals, that will be established as, as indicated in these two bills.
Yes, Mr. Chair, we will clarify that it would be for capital outlay support.
Capital outlay. Will that be okay with you, our good friend from La Union? I know that this was one of the things that pubs would like to pursue.
Yeah.
During his term, during the 17th and 18th Congress.
Yes, Mr. Chair, simply because it's still under the province, and we're also helping out with in terms of yun nga, sa medical assistance program, and of course infrastructure support as well.
Okay, thank you very much. So yun ang ano ha, titingnan natin sa gayang kaya kasama yung funding sa capital outlay. Thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Honorable Miguel.
having heard the pressing need of this Buknotan District Hospital, I therefore move that House Bill 9905, entitled an act increasing the bed capacity of the Buknotan District Hospital in the province of La Union from 25 to 50 beds and for other purposes. I so move, Mr. Chair.
Second the motion.
Okay, so there's a motion by Honorable Miguel, duly seconded, that House Bills number 9905 and House Bills number 9906 be approved, subject to the amendment as mentioned by the Department of Health. Duly seconded, hearing no objection, the same is approved. Congratulations, Honorable Ortega. Is there a motion to be co-authors?
I move, Mr. Chair, that those people or representatives present here may be made co-authors for this bill.
Second the motion.
Thank you.
So there's a motion to, and duly seconded, that all those present here, with the permission of the author, to be made co-authors of the two bills. Hearing no objection, the same is approved. So we now proceed with the House Bill number 9884, entitled an act renationalizing the Cavite Center for Mental Health located in the city of Tres Martires, province of Cavite, placing supervision and control of the Department of Health and providing funds therefor, and House Bill number 9885, entitled an act renationalizing the General Emilio Aguinaldo Memorial Hospital located in the city of Tres Martires, province of Cavite, placing under the direct supervision and control of the Department of Health and providing funds therefor, both authored by Honorable Crispin Diego Remulla. Since Honorable Remulla is not here, Honorable Goles will sponsor in his behalf.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. On behalf of Representative Crispin Diego Ping Remulla, I would like to sponsor House Bill 9884 and 9885. As a sponsorship message, I would like to put the explanatory note be part of the sponsorship message. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Goles. We now listen to the Department of Health, Dr. Reyes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, for both 9884 and 9885. DOH poses its reservation to the measure and recommends that the direct control and supervision of both health facilities mentioned remain under the provincial government, as this guarantees the full implementation of the province-wide healthcare provider network, and ensures that the healthcare provider network continuously deliver the necessary health services from primary to tertiary healthcare. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Are these for the two bills, your position?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay. May we now listen to the chiefs of the hospitals concerned. Dr. Aldos Angeles, the Chief of Hospital of the Cavite Center for Mental Health in Tres Martires City. Dr. Angeles.
Good morning po muli, Mr. Chair, and to the member of the committee. I would like to acknowledge first my colleague present. With me, Mr. Van Costa, our OIC Administrative Officer, and Miss Mamloy as our Chief Nurse. So again, good morning, and I would like to thank Honorable Crispin Chegorimulya and Honorable Goles for sponsoring the bill. With regards, Mr. Chair, to Cavite Center for Mental Health, just to give a small background and history, it was established on January 1967 as an extension of National Center for Mental Health, which is located in Tres Matres, Cavite. And it started as an extension ward of the Andres Bonifacio Medical Hospital, which is now the General Emilio Aguinaldo Memorial Hospital. And as of now, it is 250 bed capacity. It is the only mental health facility, big facility in a Calabar zone. So we are catering not only the Cavite province but neighboring province po in Cavite. So yun po yung aming service na mga pinoprovide. We're providing the outpatient department, psychological services, such as mga neuro exams, neurodevelopment, and then we also cater occupational services to our psychiatric patients. So that's all, Mr. Chair. Thank you po.
Thank you. Before we proceed, we'd like to acknowledge one of our members who is present here, Honorable Eulogio Rodriguez of the Lone District of Catanduanes. Question. You mentioned that the hospital was started as an extension of the National Center for Mental Health. I was wondering if it's an extension of the National Center for Mental Health, then it should have been under the DOH in the first place.
Yeah, yes, Mr. Chair, because of the devolution, it was devolved to a local government.
Yeah, but if it's an extension, it's part of the National Center for Mental Health, so I don't see why it was devolved. Because otherwise, then the National Center for Mental Health should have been devolved. But what happened? It was never under the Department of Health?
Because it started, Mr. Chair,
or it started as under the supervision of the local government upon the implementation of the local government code.
Yes, yes, Mr.
So it
Chair.
started in 1990s. But before the 1990, I think 1995, yung devolution.
Yes.
Yes. Oh, so thereabouts. So before that, it was under the national government.
Yes,
being
Mr.
an
Chair.
extension of the National Center for Mental Health.
Yes,
So
Mr.
it
Chair.
got separated from the National Center for Mental Health. So right now, how many bed capacity is the center, the mental health center?
Yes, Mr. Chair, right now it's 250 beds.
250.
Yes, po.
And it's the only center for mental health in Calabar Zone.
As that big, Mr. Chair, because the Batangas Medical Center has only 10 bed capacity, which is the regional hospital.
And
in
how
our
many psychiatrists are there in the center?
We
in Tres
have
Martires?
4 psychiatrists.
4 psychiatrists and how many? 200 beds and there are only 4 psychiatrists?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Don't you think the Department of Health needs to assist, to help in this case?
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Honorable
I
Marco.
just would like to ask the medical director. So in effect, right now, this hospital is under the local government unit. Is that correct?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Yes.
And do you get any support from the national government through DOH or the National Center for mental health?
Right now, only po through HPEP.
Yun lang.
Wala
Walang
po yung
ano yan.
technical services.
And you are you want it renationalized because you cannot manage it anymore financially, the operation of the hospital. I think that's the bottom line.
Yes po, Your Honor, you're correct.
How much is your current budget right now? And how much do you really need to keep it going?
Our budget for this year po, it's 65 million.
65 million.
Including lahat po the personnel and MOE.
Okay, 65 million. And the city or the provincial government cannot sustain that 65 million year to year.
Yes, Your Honor.
So if, let's say, it will not be renationalized, what happens?
We'll still continue to serve our people, but with our just capacity, Your Honor.
Will the province be amenable to give the same amount of support of 65 million if and when this will be under the direct supervision and management as well as control of the Department of Health?
With that question, Your Honor, I cannot answer because it's depend to our local chief executive.
Mr. Chair, we have similar, we have some, if you look at the Committee on Higher and Technical Education, we have some local universities that we converted to state universities because the local government cannot anymore sustain. But we got the guarantee from the local government that they will keep on funding using the same, the budget, even if it will be nationalized, itong ganito. And I think that will be probably acceptable to DOH. We can have it under their supervision and control, provided that the province will keep the same funding support to the hospital. That will be a good compromise, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Marco. So, Dr. Reyes, pwede bang mawala na yung reservations ninyo kung magtulungan ng national government and the local government?
Mr. Chair, I am not in the position to commit, but this will definitely be raised as it is being offered at this table. So we will get back to the House on this.
Mr. Chair.
Okay. Honorable Salo.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I'm just wondering, Mr. Chair, how many people or patients are they catering?
Mr. Chair, our capacity is 250. Our outpatient is we're catering 1,500 per month. And yung pa po, meron pa po kami mga psychological services and occupational therapy, mga 500 per month din po yun. So,
thank you,
but
Mr. Chair.
Yun nga po, including all the neighboring province, not only the Cavite.
In another clarification, how was this particular centers for mental health were established? Were they from the beginning part of the national government or the DOH, or it was really established by the local government units?
It was, Your Honor, yes, sorry, Your Honor, it was established under the national government in the year 1967.
And they were part of the devolution, devolved
Yes.
to the LGU. Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
Excuse me,
Honorable
Mr. Chair.
Goles.
Mr. Chair, just when was it devolved? Was it devolved at the time that it was organized, or it was devolved when the Mandanas ruling was promulgated by the Supreme Court?
I think it was devolved during the bill of local government
So
code.
it was established in 1991, I mean the law, and immediately after its promulgation, the center was already devolved to the local government.
Yes, Your Honor.
And now, I think we are facing, a similar problem that you want it to be transferred to the national government.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr.
Mr. Chair.
Honorable Goles.
Mr. Chair, I remember there's a saying, even when I was a small child, when a crazy person complains, nobody hears or listens. Yan yung pinakawawa lahat eh. Kasi these people are perceived to be crazy, and when they complain that they have not eaten, they have not taken a bath, nobody listens or nobody hears. Now is the time that this body must listen to that cry already. It's beyond humane conditions, I would suppose. Okay? 60 million catering to 200 patients, day in and day out. Mr. Chair, this representation recognizes the fact that PhilHealth can help. I would just like to know if PhilHealth has a program for these kinds of patients.
Mr. Limsiaco.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Congoles, and good morning, everyone. Relative to the mental health, Mr. Chair, we have a package for that one, and this is PhilHealth Circular 2023-0018, released by the corporation last October 12, 2023. We have regular of package of 9,000 pesos, and of course the special mental health service package of 16,000 pesos, Mr. Chair. Thank you so much.
Mr. Chair, I would like to ask the medical director if the hospital is availing of those benefit packages. And of course, I would like to also thank PhilHealth for coming up with such a memorandum, even if it's already too late. 2023 pa yung memorandum niya. At least nabigyan nila ng tuon, no? Sa leadership ng present administration ngayon. I would like to ask again the medical director if the hospital is availing of these packages so that at least in one way or the other, they have an assistance coming from the national government.
Thank you po, Mr. Chair. The Cavite Center for Mental Health is not yet accredited with the PhilHealth. And with regards to the package, it's only catered the outpatient, not the inpatient.
Mr. Chair, now I'm more confused. With 200 patients and the foremost center for mental health in the province, owned by the province, I cannot understand why PhilHealth does not accredit the Center for Mental Health in that province. And Cavite, mind you, is in Region 4A, and Region 4A gives to the national government the highest gross domestic or GDP contributor to the country.
Mr. Chair.
May we know why it is not yet accredited?
Mr. Chair, yung gaya po na sabi ni Honorable Congressman Goles, recently lang po yung package nila. So they don't have really a mental health packages with regards sa sa psych.
You mean the hospital has been existing for so many years, and I'm very sure you don't only cater to the mental health issues. There are other medical problems that comes with the mental patients. I mean, patients with mental problems, mental health problems. So if they have this other medical condition, it's not covered by PhilHealth?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, because they have category of accreditation, so hindi po siya papasok dun sa level.
Doc, did you apply for accreditation?
Yes, Your Honor.
When?
I think we applied 2010, and now we're in the process again of
2010,
reaccreditation.
today is 2024. 14
Yes.
years ago, you
So
applied.
we are now applying of reaccreditation po this
If you have not gotten the approval after 1 year or 6 months, dapat you have, you have brought the matter to Congress so we can, require them to recognize you after completion of all your requirements. Kasi kung 14 years walang action, kawawa yung, una yung pasyente, pangalawa yung probinsya, and now, in order to solve the problem, you turn it over to the national government. And I think the 16,000, if you look at Mr. Chair, napakaliit niyan. Is that a one-time deal for 1 year or ano yan? Outpatient lang yan pag kumonsulta sa psychiatrist? Ano ba yun? O yung confinement nila, walang ano yan? 16,000 ang package?
May we hear from the PhilHealth, Mr. Limsiaco?
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair, Kong Go, for that one. Our 16,000 and 9,000 package is an outpatient po. And as of this time, Mr. Chair, we have NCMH, or the National Center for Mental Health, and Mariviles Mental Wellness and General Hospital are facilities accredited by PhilHealth to provide this, to avail this mental health package, Mr. Chair. And we would like to take this opportunity to call for other facilities to apply for this package so that we can also cater to the other beneficiaries of this particular program, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Do you confirm the statement of the chief of the Center for Mental Health that they applied for accreditation in 2010 and until now you have not accredited the center?
Mr. Chair, what we are discussing is on the mental health. In the PhilHealth circular released last 2023, Mr. Chair, and definitely after that circular, application for accreditation should be submitted by our healthcare facilities to be contracted by PhilHealth. Now, on the part of our partner facilities here, upon submission of the document, we will make sure that it will be properly acted right away so that kagaya ng dalawang facilities po natin and ma-credit po right away po sila sa atin, Mr. Chair. And of course, again, we are encouraging other facilities also to apply for this contracting arrangement with PhilHealth so that po ma-cover po natin sa PhilHealth po ang mga kanilang gastusin po. Maraming salamat po.
Okay. Thank you, Honorable Marco.
Mr. Chair, I'm not yet finished with my line of questioning.
Okay,
Mr. Chair.
okay. So, yeah.
I'm sorry, Congressman Go, I'm sorry.
Okay, Honorable Goles.
Renationalizing the General Emilio Aguinaldo Memorial Hospital located in the city of Tres Martires, province of Cavite, placing under the direct supervision and control of the Department of Health and providing funds therefor. I so move, Mr. Chair, for the approval of this bill.
Second, Mr. Chair.
So there's a motion by Honorable Miguel and duly seconded that House Bill number 9905 be approved, subject to the conditions earlier agreed upon. Hearing no objection, House Bill number 9905 is now approved. Congratulations.
Mr. Chair,
yes,
one
Honorable Marco.
suggestion. I would like to request that the medical director of the said hospital should pursue yung kanilang recognition by PhilHealth on the application for PhilHealth membership of the hospital, so that the patients of the hospital can avail of this benefit under the PhilHealth law, Mr. Chair.
The Medical Center Chief, Dr. Angeles, please take note of the motion of Honorable Marco and to abide by the motion. Dr. Angeles.
Yes, Mr. Chair and Your Honor, we will we're in the process already po of accreditation.
Meron tayong timeline. Siguro within 2 weeks, you can finish the application and we'll give PhilHealth 1 month to approve it. Okay ba yun? Kaya nyo ba yun? O yun. O,
1 month.
Doc,
by
you got the, hindi na 14 years ngayon, 1 month na lang.
30 days. 30 days.
Thank you
Dr.
po, thank you po.
Mr. Limsiaco, 30 days.
Yes, Mr. Chair, basta po kompleto po yung mga requirements po, mabilis na lang po maasikaso sa opisina po. Thank you po.
Thank you very much, Mr. Limsiaco. Before we proceed, we'd like to acknowledge one of our resource persons this morning from the Department of Information and Communication Technology, Undersecretary David Almirol Jr. Thank you very much for your presence. We now proceed with the deliberation of the three national bills, the three bills of national significance. The establishment of special local health funds. Since the enactment of Republic Act number 710, otherwise known as the Local Government Code of 1991, health services have been devolved to local government units. These LGUs were left unprepared and unequipped to undertake responsibilities entailed by the devolution of health functions, even with the establishment of local health boards. It is for this reason that the three proposed House bills is intended to address these gaps and concerns. So without further ado, let's proceed with House Bill number 1588, an act establishing the Special Local Health Fund for the improvement of health care services in the local government units and appropriating funds therefor, by Honorable Yeda Marie K. Romualdez and Honorable Jude Asidre.
Mr. Chair.
Okay. And House Bill numbers 5379, entitled an act establishing the Special Health Fund for the improvement of healthcare services in the local government units and appropriating funds therefor, by Honorable Rufus Rodriguez. The authors, Honorable Romualdez and Honorable Asidre, as well as Honorable Rodriguez, are not present here today. So we now recognize Honorable Ron Salo to sponsor in their behalf.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I'll be sponsoring House Bill number 1588, and my chairperson of the Committee on Higher Ed, Representative Mark Go, will be sponsoring House Bill number 5379. Mr. Chair, House Bill number 1588, specifically authored by Chair Yeda Marie K. Romualdez and Representative Jude A. Asidre, which seeks to establish the Special Local Health Fund for the improvement of healthcare services in the local government units and appropriating funds therefore. I respectfully move, Mr. Chair, that the explanatory note be made as my sponsorship speech on this matter. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Salo. Honorable Mark Go.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. In behalf of Congressman Rufus Rodriguez, I would like to sponsor the measure, House Bill 5379, and let it be stated that the explanatory note of House Bill 5379 be considered as the sponsorship message of Congressman Rufus Rodriguez. I so move, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Mark Go. And for House Bill number 9826, an act is strengthening primary health care in support of the Universal Health Care Act by Honorable Angelica Natasha Co. Honorable Co is now recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to thank the Committee on Health, under the leadership, of course, of our Honorable Chairman, Ciriaco Gato Jr., for giving importance to the proposed legislation providing for a special local health fund. Please consider the explanatory note of House Bill number 9826, entitled An Act Strengthening Primary Health Care in Support of the Universal Health Care Act, as my sponsorship speech. With the indulgence of the committee, please allow me, however, Your Honors, to stress some important points which I believe should be taken into consideration by this august body. In the consideration of the bills on the subject matter, with the end view of crafting a meaningful legislation that would fulfill the constitutional mandate to promote the Filipino people's health as a fundamental human right. Firstly, Your Honors, it is imperative to review Section 20 of Republic Act number 11223, or the Universal Healthcare Act, which provides for a special health fund. The special provision of the law specifically states that the province-wide or city-wide health system shall pool and manage through a special health fund all resources intended for health services to finance population-based and individual-based health services, health system operating costs, capital investments, and remuneration of additional health workers, and incentives for all health workers, provided that the DOH, in consultation with the DBM and the LGUs, shall develop guidelines for the use of the Special Health Fund. In relation to this, Your Honors, it is crucial to be informed of the status of the integration of local health systems into province-wide and city-wide health systems as provided for in Section 19 of the same law, which the DOH, the DILG, PhilHealth, and the LGUs are tasked with. This is considering that under the same provision, the provincial and city health boards shall manage the Special Health Fund and shall exercise administrative and technical supervision over health facilities and health human resources within their respective territorial jurisdiction. Moreover, Your Honor, Section 21 of the Universal Healthcare Act states that all income derived from PhilHealth payments shall accrue to the Special Health Fund to be allocated by the LGUs exclusively for the improvement of the LGU health system, provided that PhilHealth payments shall be credited to the annual regular income of the LGU. Section 22 further states that the national government shall make available commensurate financial and non-financial matching grants, including capital outlay, human resources for health and health commodities, to improve the functionality of province-wide and city-wide health systems. Mr. Chair, distinguished colleagues, it is my humble suggestion na kailangan muna po nating magsimula sa pagdinig mula sa ating mga resource persons kung naipapatupad na po ba ang integration of local health systems into province-wide and city-wide health systems at ang Special Health Fund, because this is critical in our objective to craft a law providing for a local special health fund as proposed in House Bill number 1588, 5379, and 9826. House Bill number 9826, in particular, Your Honors, with which I authored, intends to ensure that there shall be mandatory allocation for health by the LGUs, especially for the benefits and incentives of health workers, including, of course, the barangay health workers and the barangay nutrition scholars. As such, I also submit, Your Honors, that a review of the devolution of health services to local government units pursuant to RA 7160 or the Local Government Code is in order. For one, there is no mandatory allocation of funds for health services, unlike in the case of our SK, our Sangguniang Kabataan, which gets 10% from the general fund of the barangay, or the Special Education Fund, which gets 1% from the proceeds of the local real estate tax collection. Moreover, the Mandanas-Garcia ruling, which expanded the national tax allocation, or the NTA, for LGUs, does not specifically state that a percentage of the NTA should be allocated for health. So wala pong mandatory on health. Finally, Mr. Chair, distinguished colleagues, I would like to stress that unless we are able to solve the sources of funds, taking into consideration the capacity of the LGUs on the one hand, and the support of the national government on the other hand, we cannot effectively provide health services for every Filipino at the community level. For the information of this honorable committee, Mr. Chair, the provision of a local health fund is also the most critical issue in the Magna Carta of the Barangay Health Workers Bill, which this representation also principally authored, and which has been approved already in the House of Representatives on third reading and is now transmitted to the Senate. Thank you, Mr. Chair and distinguished colleagues.
Thank you, Honorable Ko. We now...
Mr. Chair,
yes, Honorable Micah.
I would just like to point out, because these bills mainly concern the LGU, I think we should have the Committee on Local Government on board also, because the bills touch on the local fiscal autonomy of the LGUs. And some of the provisions in some of the bills are also referred already in the Committee on Local Government. Just like in the bill of Kong Natasha Ko, the membership of PHW in the Local Health Board, it was already tackled in the Committee on Local Government and was already passed on third reading here and transmitted to the Senate. So there are overlapping provisions that concern the local government. I would just like to point that out, Mr. Chair.
We will we will invite the Department of the ILG in the next meeting while we tackle on the consolidation, possible consolidation of the bills.
Okay, Mr. Chair.
Okay. To the Department of Health position. Director Anthony Ku.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. Before I proceed with the position paper of the Department of Health on the 3 House bills on the Special Health Fund, may I provide update as to the implementation of the UHC Act, specifically on the Special Health Fund, if I may?
Please, briefly, if you can.
Thank you. Honorable Chair, the Department of Health would like to report that as of March 2024, there are 74 provinces and highly urbanized cities that are UHC or UHC integration sites. Out of this, 57 has already had Special Health Fund depository bank account. Further, out of the 57, several have already received their funds from PhilHealth, the Department of Health, UHC fixed tranche integration site grants. Namely, these are the province of Benguet, Mountain Province, Baguio City, Ilocos Sur, Bataan, Quezon Province, Sorsogon, Lanao del Norte, Cagayan de Oro, and South Cotabato. Furthermore, there has been several policies that already been issued regarding the Special Health Fund. These are the DOH, DBM, DOF, DILG, PhilHealth Joint Circular Memorandum on the guidelines on allocation, utilization, and monitoring of and accountability for the Special Health Fund. The DOH Department Memorandum 2023-0168, Interim Guidelines on the Use and Management of Special Health Fund. And we already have issued the Commission on Audit Circular 2023-003, Accounting and Reporting Guidelines for the Special Health Fund for Provincial and Citywide Health System pursuant to Section 20 of the IRR of RA 11223. Proceeding with the reading of the DOH position paper regarding the proposed House Bill on the Special Health Fund, the Department of Health acknowledged the intent of the House bills, which seeks to establish Special Health Fund for the improvement of healthcare services. With the establishment of Special Local Health Board Fund, each local government unit shall be afforded the funding needed to ensure a balanced and fair delivery of local health services that shall be used exclusively for the acquisition of equipment, upgrading of facilities and services, additional allowances for health workers, training and continuing education of health workers, including barangay health workers and nutrition scholar. The Department of Health also would like to point out that we would like to recommend further review of the establishment of Special Local Health Fund to enhance local health services. This observation stems from the presence of an established financial mechanism outlined in the RA 11223, also known as the UHC Act, specifically in Section 20. As specified in Section 20 of the Implementing Rules and Regulation of the UHC Act, the Special Health Fund can be funded through financial grant, contribution from local governments, non-government organization, faith-based organization, and development assistance. So currently, as stated earlier, there are already 57 local government units out of the 76 integration sites that have already created the SHF depository bank account. Given this, it is recommended that an initial review and assessment shall be done on how the UHC integration sites have implemented the Special Health Fund, including the provision that require the local government to allocate funds specifically for health purposes. The aim of this is to harmonize initiative in bolstering healthcare system nationwide in alignment with the objectives of the Universal Healthcare Act. So the department shall submit the official position paper with specific recommendation for consideration once signed by the Secretary of Health.
Mr. Chair, can I?
Yes, Honorable Mark, go.
Yeah, on the average, magkano yung special health fund for all these provinces? On the average lang, per year?
For each of the integration sites, from
Yes.
the Department of Health, there is a grant of 3.1 million. For the Special Health Fund, there are several provinces which were already received their PhilHealth funds for the PCPN, Primary Care Provider Network implementation. That will depend on the number of population in these specific provinces. I believe the provinces that have already received their PhilHealth is known to PhilHealth.
So on the average, magkano yung sa PhilHealth ang binibigyan nyo? This is the first, no? You have not done it before. This is the first. So on the average, how much is the health fund that is coming from PhilHealth per
Mr.
province? Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Congo. On the part of PhilHealth, we, as mentioned, released already for local government unit, particularly the province of Quezon, 73 million pesos. South Coast, 54 million pesos. Bataan, 115 million pesos. In Baguio, 16 million pesos more or less, Mr. Chair. So apat pa lang po yung mayroon tayong pondo from PhilHealth na pumasok sa Special Health Fund po ng ating mga local government unit.
And this is directly given to the Department of Health or Services, Health Services of the city or the province.
Mr. Chair, this money directly deposited or pumasok sa mga accounts of our provinces and city, Mr. Chair. So this is part of the Consulta PCPN, Primary Care Provider Network, that the corporation is implementing since started year 2023 po, relative to the implementation of the UHC po.
Thank you, Mr.
Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Go. Yes, Honorable Goles.
What is PhilHealth finished with its statement, or I should reserve my questioning after PhilHealth? Siguro. Okay. Okay. Mr. Chair, I cannot understand why we are going to sample or population sampling with regards to the full implementation of the universal healthcare. The universal healthcare was already established maybe 5 or 6 years ago already. And now I keep on hearing 54 sites or 54 provinces as per DOH. Pero 4 lang dun sa 54 ang napondohan ng PhilHealth. Now, my question is this. What is the status of my recommendation in so many hearings already previously to PhilHealth to already expand the implementation to other provinces and cities, and also to provide and also to include private PCPN to join this program, considering that we are already in full implementation? Does that mean to say that we are talking to the wrong people? Because palagi kayo yung kausap namin dito. Do we have to force the board of PhilHealth to implement or listen to what Congress is telling them, Mr. Chair?
Mr. Limsiaco.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Congoles. On the implementation of our Consulta PCP and Mr. Chair, Congoles, these 4 sites, kasama po to sa sandbox, no? Kumbaga, testing ground, for us to expand the implementation of our primary care provider network. And kasama po dito sa PCPN is the implementation of the Special Health Fund. Kasi nandoon yung pasok ng pera natin. Now, as to the expansion of the Consulta PCPN implementation po, the corporation through its benefit committee discussed this the matter of expansion of the program last Monday, March 18, Mr. Chair, Congoles. And this one is for approval of the board ng PhilHealth this coming March 27 board meeting. So kasama po dito sa proposal of the management is the expansion not only to the local government unit or the provinces and to the cities that will be implementing the integration of the local health system, and kasama din po dito yung private sector provider, Mr. Chair, that once this will be approved by by the board and the PhilHealth circular will be out, and our providers wanted to join the program, PhilHealth will contract immediately, Mr. Chair, so that we can expand the implementation of the Consulta, the primary care, Mr. Chair, as manifested by Coco, that kailangan natin mabigyan ng attention, Mr. Chair. And of course, the other bills as well, 5379 and 1588, are parehong special fund implementation, Mr. Chair, wherein PhilHealth is, through our President, Emmanuel Ledesma Jr., fully supporting, Mr. Chair. And of course, again, we are recommending, as well as mentioned by our counterpart in the Department of Health, for the review of Section 20, Mr. Chair, particularly on its sources and uses, Mr. Chair. There are some provision in the Republic Act 11223 that we need to look into, Mr. Chair, so that we can expand its implementation, Mr. Chair, and for operational efficiency, Mr. Chair. Thank you so much.
So, Mr. Chair, are you telling us, this committee, that this March we will be expecting an expansion of this program from 4 provinces or 4 sandbox sites to more areas in the Philippines, Mr. Chair?
Mr. Chair, as I mentioned, Mr. Chair, March 27 po ang approval or ang deliberation of our PhilHealth Board on this subject matter, Mr. Chair.
So,
and once it will be approved by the PhilHealth Board, Mr. Chair, the circular will be out sometimes by April. And of course, 15 days of its publication, mag-umpisa na po yung programa. So, Mr. Chair, the critical here is the approval of our PhilHealth Board, Mr. Chair, so that we can, again, the management proposing that it will be implemented for us to expand its implementation, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, I would like to ask, what are, if he has any idea why the board will not approve this recommendation, I would like to know as early as now, Mr. Chair, so that in the next hearing, we would call for these people who did not vote for this, because they're becoming an obstacle already to a law that has been passed so many years ago. So may I know from Mr. Renet if what other conditions or scenarios are the board will the board be looking at for them not to approve this?
Mr. Chair, Congoles, maraming salamat po. On the part of our PhilHealth Board, of course, again, the key here is that the approval of the board, and on the status of its implementation, particularly on sandbox sites, Mr. Chair, we have here Representative Kong Miguel of South Cotabato can attest to that one, Mr. Chair. And of course, we have here Kong Tan of the Quezon Province can attest to its implementation. And we have here Kong Go of the Baguio City can attest to this one as well, that we release the money. And of course, our board is looking on its implementation. What's the status of this sandbox implementation, Mr. Chair? And if may I request, Mr. Chair, our in charge of our PCPN, Consulta PCPN PMT, Mr. Chair, we have here Doc Francis Sarmiento to give further details on that, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair.
Yeah, just follow up yung ano mo. Mr. Rene, ang tanong 4 lang ngayon. Kailan nyo tatapusin ito? Meron bang timeline? Okay, 4 ngayon, but you know, we have more than 80 provinces, or less than 80 provinces all over the country. When do you expect to cascade this to all provinces, to all cities, based on your timeline, if you have any?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Yes, Rep. Congo. On its expansion plan, again, year 2024, the management is ready for its implementation, and kaparte ng budget ng PhilHealth for year 2024 ay ang expansion po ng programang ito. Again, konsulta po to, and network contracting po siya. And again, we are just waiting for the approval ng board po natin so that we can cascade to the other provinces and cities as well that will be implementing the network contracting mechanism in the Consulta program, Mr. Chair. So 2024 po, once ma-approve ng board po, ready na po si PhilHealth to implement this program po. Again, if you may allow, Mr. Chair, may I request Doc Francis to give the details on this program po.
Before going to Dr. Francis, Mr. Chair, I would just like to remind the committee and the PhilHealth that the law did not even specify sandboxes. Walang sandbox, walang sinabi ng batas na Quezon, Baguio, South Cotabato mauuna. Wala talaga eh. It's a full implementation of the Universal Health Law. And I would also understand that while the government wants to fully implement this, the government also wants to be careful in spending or where the money is going to be placed. Gusto kayo makasigurado, not unless you involve the private sector network under your PCPN, it will not work. Kung palagi lang natin sasabihin ang probinsya, ang city, it will really not work. I've been telling everybody, the Universal Healthcare Law has the spirit of approaching this in the whole of society approach. So dapat kasama dito yung private sector, Mr. Chair. And I hope PhilHealth can realize the value of that. And I really expect that the board, aside from opening the sandboxes, to include the private sector or the private network to be involved in the PCPN, Mr. Chair. And I will be monitoring this closely together with the Congressman Go, Congressman Tan, and Dr. Miguel for the board approval, because we want to know, and of course I would want to include Kong Salo and Kong Rodriguez, we want to know who among the board disapproved this. Ang tagal na talaga namin ito, dalawang budget hearing na natin to talaga palaging. So, ipapatawag siguro natin yung mga hindi pumayag dito sa iniesposo ng committee na ito. Maraming salamat, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Goles. Before we proceed, we'd like to acknowledge the presence of our member, Honorable Franz Castro, Deputy Minority Leader of Party List ACT Teachers. Thank you very much.
Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair.
Honorable Salo.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. So as not to unduly lengthen the discussion on this particular matter, Mr. Chair, considering that I'm the one of the primary authors of this particular law that we're discussing, the Universal Healthcare Law, which we, together with Chairman Go and Governor Helen Tan, during that time when it was passed. And during that time when it was passed, I was just on my first term. Now on my third term, I'm nearing the end, and we're still hearing initial stages of implementation of this particular law. Just unfortunate, Mr. Chair. So may I respectfully manifest, Mr. Chair, that perhaps we can allot a specific briefing on the status of the implementation of this particular law, a more comprehensive discussion, and to invite also the members of the board of PhilHealth, including also officials from the Department of Health, and all those in charge of implementing this particular law. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. For the information of everyone, we have a scheduled briefing of the PhilHealth probably first week of May, of our resumption of session. Together with the Committee on Appropriations, we already talked this with Honorable Stella Kimbo.
Yes, Mr. Chair,
so
but
it's primarily for PhilHealth and all matters relating to PhilHealth.
not exactly about PhilHealth only, Mr. Chair. It's really about the implementation of the Universal Healthcare Law. And of course,
Okay.
PhilHealth there is one of the primary actors in the implementation. But of course, it's also the Department of Health, because our focus on the Universal Healthcare Law is really about ensuring primary health care to everyone.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Mr. Chair.
Honorable Salo.
Mr. Chair, if I may add to the suggestion of Congressman Salo, Mr. Chair, with all due respect, I would also like to be involved in this meeting, actually not to talk about any other thing except this full implementation of the universal healthcare, particularly in opening of the sandboxes and involving a whole of society approach. It's been 2 years already, and 2025 patapos na. Hindi ko alam kung ang delaying tactic na yan para wala na tayo magtanong, di ba? Pero at least kahit papano, itong isang taon na natitira, gusto ko naman itanong mismo, hindi sa'yo, Mr. Renet, pero dito sa mga boboto na ito during their board meeting. We would want to imply into their consciousness, in their gray matter, that something really matters and the decision matters, and it has been stalling the full implementation of universal healthcare. And I hope Congresswoman Roque would would be in unison with that. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Thank you,
Mr. Chair,
Honorable Goles.
I
Yes.
think in the exercise of the oversight function of Congress, we can just concentrate on this, on the implementation of the UHC law, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Go. Yes, Honorable Miguel.
Mr. Chair, with due respect to our colleagues here, this is not in defense of the sandboxes. It's just that my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, Office of PhilHealth, sandboxes, the consultant package is being implemented universally right now. It's just that the sandboxes is another mode of payment wherein the money is loaded up front. Nauna lang yung pera. Yung ibang mode of a consultant package, titingnan muna yung pasyente, tsaka babayaran yung services na in-offer ng isang health facility. So, the case of South Cotabato and all other provinces naka-avail nitong sandboxes, naiba lang dahil yung pera, iminigay muna. Tapos, saka lang bibigyan serbisyo yung mga would-be patients. On the other hand, there's another mode of consultant package wherein titingnan mo na yung pasyente at i-bill out ng certain particular health center yung PhilHealth upon seeing the patient, after seeing the patient. Yun po ang pagkakaintindi ko. Kung tama ba o mali, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Misiaco.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair, and thank you so much, Kong Miguel, for that one. Tama po si Kong Miguel. The mechanism here under the Consulta PCPN is front load, kumbaga kontrata, labas pera, and serbisyo, which is different from the regular Consulta that we are implementing, wherein performance commitment, bigay serbisyo, reimbursement po si PhilHealth. That's the reason why po along that network contracting of PCPN, dito po yung front load mechanism, contracting mechanism po, network contracting po yung ang ating ginagawa po so that PhilHealth can front load the money to the network po kagaya ng South Cotabato and the 3 other local government units mentioned, Mr. Chair. So ito yung advantage ng Consulta PCPN that as again aligned to the Universal Healthcare Law Act, that PhilHealth will now change its provider payment mechanism from the reimbursement to the front load mechanism or the prospective payment mechanism, Mr. Chair. Thank you so much.
Mr. Chair, if may I add.
Thank you.
Isang rason po kung bakit ginawa itong, bakit kakaunti lang yung front loading. I asked this question previously. The answer I've heard is that mayroong issues sa auditing. So medyo bago ito na hindi pa nagamit, bibigyan na ng pera. This is an issue with auditing, with the Commission on Audit. So para hindi tayo magkamali daw, subukan muna natin na i-front load saka iilang centers. So yun po ang pagkakaalam ko kung bakit kaunti lang muna yung front loading because of auditing concerns. They have to perfect the system before this will be implemented nationwide.
Mr. Yes, Mr. Limsiaco.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Tama si Kong Miguel, Mr. Chair. No? On the part of our Commission on Audit, they were able to issue the COA Circular number 2023-003 to support this mechanism, Mr. Chair, including the establishment of the Special Health Fund in our local government units. Ready na po itong sistema, itong mekanismong ito on the part of our Commission on Audit, Mr. Chair. No? And of course, the 4 local government units, the 3 provinces and Baguio City, for year 2023, kasama na po yung Special Health Fund sa mga libro, sa report that is submitted to Commission on Audit, na ito naman po ay ino-audit ngayon ng ating COA, and looking into the initial implementation of the Special Health Fund and the initial implementation of the Consulta PCPN and front load mechanism ng PhilHealth po. So expecting that the report will be out sometimes 2nd or 3rd quarter of this year, Mr. Chair, so that we can enhance the system with the Department of Health. And again, Mr. Chair, PCO Ledesma and the PhilHealth team really opposing this one for us to implement again not only the universal healthcare, the front-load mechanism, including the mechanism of the implementation of the special health fund, which the committee, the subject of this hearing right now, Mr. Chair. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I have one last question, if you may
Please.
allow me, Mr. Chair. Thank you very much for that welcoming news. No, that now that the Commission on Audit has issued guidelines on regarding the sandboxes, so it means to say that we are already ready to increase the number of sandboxes and to open the sandbox to a lot of areas in the country. Is that correct?
On the part of COA, yes, Mr. Chair, that the special health fund mechanism is already in place and ready na po siya.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Number two, my question is this. Matagal ko na rin po iniesposo at mga kasamahan ko dito at naniniwala din yung framers ng batas na ito a few years ago, almost a decade ago, na kailangan ng tulong ng private sector. Okay, they should be part of the private PCPN na tinatawag. Can you explain further kung ano na po ang extent ng activity na ito, Mr. Chair?
Mr. Chair, Congoles, tama po kayo. Itong network contracting ng PhilHealth for the primary care provider network, hindi lamang para sa public PCPN or the local government unit, the province or city, saklaw din po dito yung private PCPN, Mr. Chair. And the only concern that the implementation of this program for the private sector is the procurement contracting mechanism, of which the GPPB already provided us with their opinion, with their comments, of which the BENCOM already considered this one, Mr. Chair. And again, once this will be approved by the board this coming March 27, kasama na po not only yung public but ang private sector as well, Mr. Chair. And again, Mr. Chair, ito po ay binabantayan din po at saka inaalalayan ng ating private sector advisory council or ang PISAC na tinitingnan din po ng ating Malacanang in the implementation of this PCPN, particularly on the private sector, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. The reason why I'm really firm on this is because sa government hospitals and facilities, kulang na nga yung doktor eh. So para makatulong ang pag-usad ng implementasyon ng universal healthcare, kailangan ang mga doktor o ang mga tulong na galing sa private sector. Hanggat wala po yung tulong na galing sa private sector, mahihirapan po tayo ma-implement fully ang universal healthcare. Marami pong salamat, Mr. Chair. Maraming salamat, Mr. Renet. Do you have any other thing to mention about the inclusion of the private PCPN? Para matahimik po ako.
Mr. Chair, sinusuportaran po ng management ang proposal po ni Congoles in the implementation of this Consulta PCPN in the private sector. Again, kasama na po siya sa proposal as mentioned by Dr. Francis, and hoping that we can also engage and contract with the private sector network in the implementation of this Consulta. Again, tama po, the private sector gonna play a vital role in this one as we are increasing the capitation from the 500 on the part of the government to 1,700 and a private of 750 to 1,700 as well, to include the mammogram and the ultrasound sa breast as recommended by our Honorable Speaker Romualdez. Mr. Chair, maraming salamat po.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Honorable Miguel.
If I may add with Dr. Goles' opinion, I'd like you to see an example wherein the government center will be deluged with patients like South Cotabato. Masarap pakinggan na meron kaming ganun. Pero sa totoo lang, ang registered na patients under this program is 300,000. So what if itong 300,000 biglang pupunta sa OPD? Hindi talaga kaya. Hindi talaga kaya. That's why I was also going around asking our private doctors, friends, was the possibility of you putting up a primary care network. May problema lang po tayo, Mr. Chair, as I'm bringing this up to PhilHealth. Hindi nila matanggap yung 700, napakababa. Malulugi raw sila. So yun po ang gusto ko lang ipaabot sa PhilHealth. If we're going to discuss the involvement of private sector, probably we will reconsider our rates. Hindi talaga nila kaya. Walang doktor. Especially right now, doctors are in practice. They already have their own network na kumikita sila. So they won't spend another time, effort, nagbubuo para lang ikikater yung public at 700 pesos. So hindi naman mukhang pera mga doktor, but mahirap magsimula muli na mahihirapan sila. Existing na kasi sila eh. Meron na silang multi-specialty group na meron silang pharmacy doon. So how can you expect them to build another one? So pero kung medyo hindi naman ganun kababa, 700, baka mag-isip sila for the sake of public service. So yun po ang aking gustong malaman ng PhilHealth.
Thank you, Honorable Miguel. Yes?
Thank you for that, Kong Miguel, Mr. Chair. On the part of PhilHealth, as I mentioned kanina, the PhilHealth Board already approved the increase in capitation from 500 on the part of the government to 1,700. On the part of the private, from 750 to 1,700 also, Mr. Chair, to give premium on the primary care implementation, Mr. Chair, that addressing that concern of our doctors, of our healthcare providers in the implementation of primary care. Sa konsulta po, kasama yung konsultasyon, laboratory, hindi na 13 but 15 na po to, na mga diagnostic tests, and 21 medicines. Kasama po dito yung antibiotics, and kasama po dito yung mga maintenance drugs po na kailangan ng ating mga ng ating kapwa't Pilipino po, na covered by PhilHealth. In the year 2024, ngayong taon po, PhilHealth allocated 30 billion pesos more or less in the implementation of Consulta program, as the Consulta, primary care, is one of the major strategies implementasyon ng universal healthcare po na sinusuportahan din po ng PhilHealth po. Maraming salamat.
Implemented now. It's now implemented. The 1,700 increase.
Mr. Chair, ang increase po ay once mailabas na natin ng circular.
So it's not yet implemented.
But approved already by the PhilHealth.
It's not yet implemented.
Not yet
so
po.
when is it? When will it be implemented?
Mr. Chair, I think by April mailabas na po yung circular na ito, affecting the increase in capitation po, Mr. Chair. Again, to address the concern ni Kong Miguel at saka yung mga providers po natin.
Galing. With that, Mr. Chair, salamat po. Sobrang malaking good news po yan para sa ating mga practitioners as well as would-be patients.
Yes
Thank you po.
Yes po, Mr. Chair, dahil yun ang promesa ni PC Oledesma in attending the hearing like this, para po masuportaran po yung ating mga kababayan on the primary care concerns po natin. Hindi lamang po yung nagkakasakit makabil nito, kundi yung mga hindi rin, this is also for the wellness po, no? So lahat ho tayo dapat makarestro sa konsulta to avail these benefits, no? Na hindi na tayo kailangan pa makakasakit before we can avail the PhilHealth benefits po. Maraming salamat.
Thank you. Honorable Castro.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So, ngayon po kasi, Mr. Chair, ito na para sa mga teachers and mga government employees, mga 1.5 million yan. Ang mga teachers, Mr. Chair, every end of the year, nagkakaroon niya ng, ng medical annual check-up. So, eto matagal ko na tinatanong ito, hindi pa kayo nagbibigay ng data po, no? Kasi kailangan mag-register doon sa pinakamalapit na mga ospital na kung saan nandoon yung mga teacher. So, kagaya ng concern ni Dr. Miguel, tsaka ni Representative Goles, no, tsaka yung iba, doctor din pala si Dr. Goles. So, yung iba din, ang concern din nila, kung lahat ng mga teachers pupunta doon sa mga public hospitals, mukhang hindi kakayanin. Kaya kailangan talaga yung facility na rin, halimbawa ng mga private. So, yun po bang 1.7, Mr. Chair, parehas din po ba yung presyo? Halimbawa, kung magpa-x-ray ako sa private hospital, doon sa public hospital, pares din po ba yung presyo nun? O yung blood chem, yung laboratory, pares din po ba yung presyo? Sir Chair.
Mr. Limsiaco?
Yes, Mr. Chair, and maraming salamat Kong Castro for that one. We acknowledge po yung ating mga teachers po, particularly sa DepEd po, that mabibigyan natin ng serbisyo on the primary care po. No? And may mga ongoing discussion din po tayo sa DepEd, ma'am, in the implementation of Consulta program. And hopefully, within the year, matatapos na po yung mga preliminaries po. No? And
Mr. Chair, sorry lagi ko na lang naririnig yung mga consultation eh. Ilang taon ko nang naririnig, Mr. Chair, yung consultation at hindi pa ito natatapos. Kasi dapat nasa implementation stage na tayo.
Yes.
So, yun po, ang tanong ko po, sa dapat nasa implementation stage na tayo ngayon, kasi alam naman ng mga teacher, magpaparegister sila sa malapit na our regional hospital or sa mga provincial hospital. Kaya lang ang problema kasi marami, hindi accommodate yun ng mga regional and provincial. So, kapag pumunta ba sila sa mga private hospital, just in case na matapos na yung guidelines nyo by April, yung 1,700, pares ba yung presyo? Alba, baka naman yung makuha naming, ako, yung teacher na pupunta sa public hospitals ay mas maraming mga ma-avail na mga diagnostic test, laboratory. Pero pagdating niya naman sa private, baka iba na ang presyo. Baka ang makuha na lang niya ay urinalysis, blood test, or x-ray na lang. So, tinatanong ko po, magiging pares lang po ba yung presyo, Mr. Chair? So, yun po. Ano po ba yung sa guidelines niyo doon?
Mr. Chair, Kong Castro, on the part of the capitation, ay pareho po ito on the part of the public and the private, 1,007. And same po na mga serbisyo ang ibibigay po nila, ang coverage po dito, konsultasyon, laboratory na 15, and medisina po na 21 medicines kasama po dito for the primary care.
Ang tanong ko po, the same ba yung presyo?
Pareho po.
Halimbawa dito sa public, ang presyo ng x-ray ay say, magkano ba? 500. Pag pumunta ba si teacher sa isang private, 500 din ba? Yung sa dami ng test, parehas lang ba ang presyo? Yun po yung tanong ko. Baka kasi konti lang yung makuwang diagnostic test doon sa private. Kasi with the same amount po 1,700 halimbawa.
Mr. Chair, Kong Castro, yung on the part ng PhilHealth po sa pagbabayad ay pareho po, case rate po yung ginagamit natin. And depende po sa charge ng ating mga facilities. Not only hospital po ito, Kong, but kasama po yung mga consulta provider na mga facilities po natin accredited ng PhilHealth. So marami naman po, nasa 2,600 plus na po to nationwide, na po pwede po lapitan ng ating mga teachers po. And again, on the part ng public, that is 1,700, pero on the part ng private, pwede po mag-copay ang ating mga private sector, a maximum of 900 pesos po. Pero yung ibabayad ni PhilHealth po, dahil capitation po to, at individual po ay 1,700 po siya. Maraming salamat po.
Okay. So, parang same amount na 1,700. Kaya yun nga po yung kinaklarify ko. So, kung 1,700 pareho sa public and private, so mas konti po yung maa-avail ni teacher o ng pasyente o yung ating mamamayan sa private. Konti lang po na ma-avail niya based do sa 1,700. Kung yung 1,700, 3 lang yung ma-avail niya, pero sa public po, ang ma-avail niya ay 7 o 8 na diagnostic test. So, paano po yung equity nun? Paano yung paano natin masasolve yung ganyang gap po, Mr. Chair?
Please proceed, Mr.
Maraming salamat, Mr. Chair. Ito naman po yung ating consulta package po, depende sa rest assessment ng doktor. If the beneficiary po ay maraming laboratory na kailangan, bibigyan po siya ng laboratory na yon. Pero if the patient hindi kailangan or konti lang yung laboratory na kailangan niya or even medicines, yun lang po yung ibibigay po sa kanya. So that this is actually a risk pooling din siya, that yung mga beneficiaries na hawak ng isang facility, covered by the services, ay some ay nangangailangan, some ay hindi naman, but PhilHealth will gonna pay the capitation po na 1.7 for the services rendered po ng ating mga facility. So hindi po na isang tao ay ubusin natin ng 13 o 15 laboratories po, hindi ganon po siya ang kanyang mekanismo po. Depende po sa risk assessment ng doktor po natin kung anong pangangailangan of our beneficiary po na kailangan ibibigay ng facility po.
Yes, I understand, Mr. Chair. Hindi, kasi tinatanong ko lang po kasi yung sa check-up ng teacher, annual check-up. So usually, o yung, kumbaga sa ano yung executive check. So usually, ang hinahanap po ng mga doktor sa DepEd ay yung x-ray, urinalysis. Ngayon yata may blood chem na ina-avail. Yung ganun po hindi po lahat po sila pare-pareho may ganun. Mr. Chair. So paano po kaya yun na?
I think the question, if I may, the question of Honorable Castro is, mas mahal talaga yung sa private compared sa government. But you're giving the same amount of benefit. So if I give you 1,700 sa patient A, and patient B receives the same amount, so patient A goes to the government, patient B goes to the private. If the private's complete blood count and urinalysis charges say 100, 50 pesos dun sa government, siyempre mas marami ang services na magagawa kung mag-government ka. Kung pupunta ka sa private, kung halimbawa 3 pa ang kailangan na laboratory, hindi na kaya. So mag-out of pocket ngayon si teacher who consulted a private institution.
Mr. Chair.
Ganun lang. It's like, I give you 1,000 pesos, bumili ka ng bigas. Commercial yung isa, NFA yung isa. Mas kukunti ang mabibili nung
Mr. Chair.
Nung commercial dahil mas mahal yung commercial versus NFA. I think that's the concern of Honorable Castro.
Mr. Chair, pwede bang mag-interject na ako before PhilHealth would answer the question? My understanding about consultant package sa private providers is that yung network, kikreate yung doktor ng network, private doctors. If the teacher belongs to that network, of course, yung kanyang urinalysis, yung kanyang chest x-ray, and other labs, libre po yun. So, yung tanong na yung pera na ibibigay per patient doon sa private sector, kasya na po ba yun? Ang sagot, sa tingin ko po, kasya na po yung concern ng teachers po. Libre na po yun. Yung amount na 1.7, pagkakasyahin po kasi yun ng private provider. Kasi may enrolled siya Ang importante lang po doon, para gusto nyong matingnan yung mga teachers na private, mag-enroll si teacher as sa network doon ni doktor, private doctor. Kasi isang doktor dyan is allowed to enroll 20 patients. So sa 20 patients, yung kanyang alagaan, yun ang principle po ng consultant package. 20,000 patients, yun yung alagaan ni private doctor. Siya yung magpo-provide ng laboratory basic na 15 na laboratory, including x-rays and urinalysis. Siya rin magpo-provide ng kailangang gamot na nakaprescribe lang 21 yun. Iba't ibang gamot. So pag hindi sumobra doon, yung kailangan ni teacher, libre lahat yun. Unless, ang sasabi si doktor, naku, meron kang thyroid problem, hindi yan kasama sa 15 na test. So doon papasok yung out of the pocket na babayad nung teacher. Pag kailangan niya ng special laboratories dahil yung sakit niya hindi doon sa primary level. Kumbaga doon sa specialty level na. So yun po ang pagkakaintindi ko ng consultant package kung yun ang pinag-uusapan natin ngayon sa private sector.
Mr. Chair, tama po si Kong Miguel on that note, Mr. Chair. And kumbaga, again, on the part ng PhilHealth, pareho po yung ating payment mechanism. The capitation is 17,000 yung ating proposal ngayon from the previous one. And on the part ng private po, the private consulta facility can singil additional amount of money, maximum amount of 900 pesos po. So, kumbaga, on the part ng PhilHealth, ito, on the consulta services, primary services, ito lang yung ating, ito yung ating ipupunduhan, and the rest, that would be shouldered by the beneficiary kung papasok sa private, but on the part of the government, yan lang po yung babayaran ng PhilHealth po. Thank you.
If I may, is consulta package dedicated only to government clinics, not
Hindi
private?
Po, lahat po.
So you
private
can avail of
government.
the consulta package in a private institution.
Yes,
And
Mr.
that's
Chair.
where the problem lies, because the charges in a private institution is higher. I mean, generally higher than in government, but you get the same amount of benefit. And therefore, should there be a need of the laboratories and other diagnostic workups, mas kokonti ngayon ang ma-avail ng teacher or yung patient in a private institution compared sa government, because the charge is higher in private institution. And that, I think, is the concern of Honorable Castro.
Mr. Chair, if may I?
Ay, correct, Mr. Limsiaco?
Yes, Mr. Chair, tama po yung analysis nyo, and we wanted to implement this one. Monitor natin po yung implementation po niya, whether that really happening or not. And makikita naman natin po once we will be evaluating the program, so that the policy, kung kailangan man i-adjust, ma-adjust po ng korporasyon. But for the meantime, Mr. Chair, ganun po yung ating programa, yung palisiya that we will be implementing para po we can start on this program, Mr. Chair, na mapapa-implement lang po natin siya, no? And expand or improve natin later on, Mr. Chair. Again, hindi pa ho tayo naka-take off. Out of 13 million Filipinos, 22 million pa lang ang nakarehistro, and kailangan pa natin sila i-profile so that they will be provided with consulta services, Mr. Chair. Maraming salamat po.
Sige po. Thank you po. No? So, mag-experiment ako sa mga teacher ngayong end of the school year. Papupuntahin ko yung isa sa public, yung isa naman sa private. Kukumpara natin. So, tignan natin kung paano i-implement yun, kung kasya yung 1.7 sa pangangailangan ng ating mga teachers. So, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Castro.
Mr. Chair, if I would like to shed light on this. Sa totoo lang, hindi lahat ng private sector papasok dito. A private doctor will signify na sila papasok dito sa consulta package. So hindi po sasabihin natin punta ako dito, i-avail ko sa consulta package sa isang private. Hindi po mangyayari po yun dahil in order for you to avail this in a private doctors, una, hanap kayo ng private doctors na gustong sumali dito because naintindihan ng doktor na yon na pag pumasok ka, lahat ililibre basta kasama dun sa menu. So yun po, that's why, yun ang pinagkaiba, baka isipin natin kahit saang doktor lang pwede na itong consulta package, hindi po. There would be a doctor would apply first, signify their intention to serve the patients under this program.
Thank you, Honorable Miguel.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Honorable Co.
May I just respectfully manifest with your indulgence, Mr. Chair, that we can also have an in-depth report from the DOH and the PhilHealth on the status of the Special Health Fund, specifically Section 20, which is the Special Health Fund of the Universal Healthcare Act, so that we can, yes, if we can invite them again in this committee, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Co. Before we recognize the Department of Budget and Management, just one last question. From the Department of Health regarding the Special Health Fund, you were saying that your target integration sites are 76? So 76 provinces? Or does this include also the component cities?
Sir, this include the highly urbanized
So
cities.
highly urbanized cities and provinces.
Yes, Mr.
But
Chair.
there are 81 or 82 provinces in the Philippines. So,
Yes.
kasama bang Batanes?
Sir,
Why only 76?
sir,
Do you don't have
this is
any
the
plans of including the other provinces outside of the 76?
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair, for that question. So currently, there are 76 integration sites. Eventually, the plan, of course, of the universal healthcare is to implement this to all local government units. The integration sites of the universal healthcare are the initial provinces and highly urbanized city which wanted to take on the risk of being the first among the different local governments to go into the universal healthcare implementation, because there are, of course, expectation from the local government who are committing into the integration sites. So initially, years before, it was just around 17, and then it has increased. In 2023, we had additional 5 integration sites. So we are not limiting it to 76.
Okay.
It's just that the province and the highly urbanized city needs to send a letter of intent, as well as to undergo the baseline assessment along with the Center for
So
Health
these are
Development.
only initial target.
Yes.
But the ultimate target is to
Everything.
include all
Yes.
the provinces and all cities.
Yes, Mr.
Okay.
Chair.
Do you have a timeline?
Sir, we're
Kasi
hoping...
kung ilan provinces pa lang, di ba? And now it's in the 4th year of implementation ng universal healthcare. So, kailan kaya ang Batanes? No.
Answer the question if Batanes is included.
Yeah. Do
You
you
are
have
just
plans
assuming
of
that
including
Batanes is not
Batanes?
included.
Mr. Chair, baka makalimutan yung Catanduanes, baka hindi rin kasama dyan. Parehas tayong isla eh.
We understand also the limitations, but you know, now we are now in the 4th year of the implementation, and you only have 56 out of the 50 plus out of the 76 target integration sites.
Yes, sir.
And 5 provinces. Anyway,
What
so
is the
do we get
universal
an
set?
answer?
Sir,
Gaano katagal namin hintayin para ma-implement nyo yung 82 provinces and cities?
Sir,
Highly urbanized cities?
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Just an estimate, maybe in 3 years' time, 2 years' time?
We are expecting that in 2026, there's going to be an evaluation of the implementation of the Universal Healthcare Act. So by 2026,
We don't need the evaluation.
there should be all
We
provinces
want to
should
hear
all be.
when is your target completion.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, before that question, I think we have to ask him, what is the universal set? How many sites are we talking about? Because if we're talking about LGUs, municipalities are already 1,400, 117 cities, 82 provinces. And if we are moving 5 per year, baka patay ka na, hindi pa tapos yung kalahati ng pinag-uusapan natin.
Okay.
At nakalagay ba yan sa batas?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So, Mr. Chair, with respect to the Universal Healthcare Act, since it talks about province-wide and city-wide integration, so we're looking at the level of highly urbanized cities as well as provinces. So that will be all provinces and all highly urbanized city. The last 5 was in 2023, but in the previous years, there were a lot of provinces which signified the intention. So we'll be coordinating with the different centers for health development to closely coordinate with the remaining provinces and highly urbanized city to check if they are interested and willing to comply with the requirements.
In the next meeting, I expect you to give us a more concrete and categorical answer, sir, Dr. Director coup.
Yes, sir.
Sir, hindi pa rin niya sinagot kung Batanes is included.
Sir,
Mabait
it's
ako.
included, sir.
Ang
Thank you.
Katanduanes.
Thank you.
Yes, it's included, sir.
Ang Katanduanes.
Katanduanes.
Ang Katanduanes.
Included, sir.
Included din. Okay.
Yung Katanduanes, kasama ba?
Yes, included, sir.
Kasi pag nawala yung...
Sir, yung bukid nun,
Ang bukid
kasama?
nun, ang bukid nun.
Yung bukid
Kasama
nun,
ba yung
kasama?
bukid nun?
Sir, I'll check.
Mag-iingat ka. And, so ba sasabihin niya, ma'am, makakasama po yan.
Hindi pa, UAS ang bukid nun daw.
So, no, it will be included in the next meeting. Okay, so may we now proceed with the resource person from the Department of Budget and Management, Attorney Philip Jeffrey David.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning, everyone. Before I give our initial comments on Mr. Chair, we would like to manifest that we will submit our official position paper on this subject, House bills, once the same has been approved and signed by our secretary. We just have two provisions that we have reservations. Firstly, Mr. Chair, we laud the intent of these House bills, particularly on the provision of total quality health care to the people, to the public, especially those belonging to the local government units. On Section 3, Mr. Chair, on the establishment of special local health fund, we note that the same may be covered under Section 20 of the Universal Healthcare Act, and in this regard, Mr. Chair, we recommend instead to monitor the full implementation of RA 11223, Mr. Chair, particularly on the integration of the healthcare system. And then the second and the last provision that we have comments or reservations is Section 5 on the funding provisions, Mr. Chair. Said section earmarks a certain rate of the of the local government funds or revenues. So it is our position that earmarking is